And in Ethiopia, the Tigray People's Liberation Front, the TPLF, says it will withdraw from several regions it had captured in the last few months. The withdrawal could mark a turning point and a possible step towards a ceasefire after 13 months of brutal war. The Ethiopian government says the TPLF's announcement is a cover-up tactic for its recent military setbacks. Ethiopia has been engaged in civil war for over a year, which has killed tens of thousands and displaced millions. Well, both sides in this conflict have been accused of atrocities, with reports of rape and gender-based violence being used against girls as young as 6. The Ethiopian Human Rights Commission has launched an investigation, and their commissioner for women's and children's rights is Meskerem Geset, who joins me now from Addis Ababa. Thank you so much for taking the time to come onto the show. What have your investigations found?
Thank you very much, Claire. As known to many, we have launched a joint investigation with the UN Office of the High Commissioner covering the early days of the conflict, which already disclosed different forms of gender-based violence, including sexual violence like rape, sexual assault, enslavement, forced pregnancy, and the like, committed against women and girls. But also our further investigations in other parts of the country that are affected by the conflict, such as the Amhara region and Afar, also show similar findings and worrying patterns of gender-based violence being committed by different parties involved in the conflict.
Now, in this conflict, what are the effects of such gender-based violence?
So we have seen rape as one of the prominent forms of gender-based violence, but also, as I've said, different forms of sexual assault, forced pregnancy, enslavement, and also beyond the sexual violence that I have noted, we have seen also the gendered impacts of other violations. For example, how much the lack of access to basic services have affected particularly and disproportionately women and girls, from access to sexual reproductive health to also access to different support for survivors of gender-based violence because of disruption of different forms of infrastructure that were in place. So our reports and our investigation has given particular attention to this gender dimension of the conflict throughout the different phases. And recently also following the withdrawal of the TPLF forces, we are gaining more access to parts that were occupied, and we are deploying an investigation mission that would be probing into also the gender dimensions of the conflict and the different aspects of human rights.
About that as well, if I may just jump in, because it's not just the TPLF that is preventing access. We know the government has been barring journalists and other external observers from certain areas of the country. How can your commission, or indeed any international team of investigators, actually guarantee impartiality under these conditions?
It is indeed a very important question, and impartiality is an important element of human rights investigation. And as you can imagine, it is difficult to guarantee 100% impartiality when you work in a very politically polarized context. But I mean, what we can speak of is about our working methods and how best we try. We try our best by employing a very qualified investigation team that is trained, well-trained on methods of human rights investigations. And we are using also internationally accepted human rights investigation methodology. And we are from time to time also reflecting on our working methods and also our team's engagement in this investigation. So yes, we hear critics from different parties about our work, and it's natural to have questions about the impartiality of such process, and we acknowledge and we understand. But we do our best also to employ an impartial process.
And we do appreciate your work into this important topic. We are going to have to leave the interview there, I'm afraid, but Meskerem Geset, Commissioner for Women's and Children's Rights at the independent Ethiopian Human Rights Commission, thanks so much again for coming on the show.
Thank you.